All right, we're live. Okay, so yeah, I didn't share earlier, but this is this is the reason why I do what I do, and this is just a powerful testimony, and I know why things happen, and this is why I'm on this planet is to do this. So, or this world. Um, so when I decided to close down my business, there were we had investors that invested with us, and I had to tell them like, hey guys, yeah, where I'm closing down the business, and it was just hard. Like I share with you, it's so crushing conversation. It was very difficult to tell people. A lot of them lost a lot of money, and then there was in one particular this person named Stuart, and and maybe I have to go back to the story to 2018. This on the ground floor of our building, we're literally right on the Hollywood Walk of Fame by Jimmy Kimmel Live, by the Chinese theater. Like, this is a perfect event space for premiere parties and all these things. And the landlord said, hey, well, this is probably in early 2018. He was like, hey, the tenants are going to be gone. If you want the space, you can have it. But here's the deal: you need to have, I think it was like $1.3 million in like 6 weeks. So and so for us to secure it, and so we started raising money, and um, and then I got to the final week. We had raised only $1 million, and we're short 300 grand. And I was like, oh man, I don't think. And we structured the deal through a convertible note. So basically, it was a loan, and it will convert once we secure like fully secure the 1.3 million. And if we don't, we just got to return all the money back. So it's a no deal for everybody, right? And so it was the final week, and I told my wife, yeah, I don't think this is gonna work out because $300,000 is a lot of money, and people would need to do legal due diligence. There's just no way in the natural that this is gonna happen. And so my wife and I actually reached out to uh, an organization called Pasadena International House of Prayer. We're believers, and we said, hey, would you guys like to do some street outreach, use the space just to do some worship, or like pray for people on Hollywood Boulevard? I mean, there's a lot of people that need that. And so they said, yeah, absolutely, this would be amazing. So they came, and we hosted them literally in the final week. And they gave us the mic, because we're the host, and we shared kind of what we're contending for. We're like, yeah, we'd love for this space to be an event space, and yeah, it would be an incredible addition to what we already have in the rest of the building. And but we're short $300,000. We don't know if this is going to happen. God's will at this point. I kid you not. The next day, I received a phone call. It was a phone call from Stuart, and Stuart said, hey, my wife was at your event last night, and I was so inspired. I would love to just give you the $300,000. I was like, what? Are you sure? He's like, yeah, I would love to do that. And I said, oh, that would be amazing. Would you like to come over and uh, take a look, walk through, like see the pitch deck? He's like, no, 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 I don't need any of that. I only have one condition. I was like, anything, sure. He said, I don't need to make a lot of money with this $300,000, but I just need it back. That's my
Mm.
one condition. And so I said, absolutely, Sewer, you got it. He literally gave him the contract. He signed it. 2 days later, he wired the $300,000. We closed the round, and we got the space, right? And so that's a miracle story right there, because it just doesn't happen very often in the real world, probably ever in the business, right? The market. And then we started, renovating the space for the build out. And I think we opened in maybe April to May of 2019,
Mm.
and we started operating it until April of 2020, where we had to shut everything down from the event. And
Yeah.
so to November 2020, I had to call all the investors, and Stuart. was the last person for me to call, because I just had so much guilt and shame, and I didn't know how to speak to him. And he's also one of those investors like never checks in. He's just, he's just such a nice guy, right? And but I had to call him, and I said, "Hey, Stuart, this is Lawrence. I want to give you some update." He's like, "Okay, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, well, yeah, the lockdown's still happening, and I just want to let you know we've decided to close shop. That we're going to close our door, and we just racked up too much money in back rent. It just we're not going to survive." And he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry, Lawrence. Like, sorry to hear that. What? Wow. Okay. So what are you doing?" I was like, I tried to float the company. I literally lost everything. I'm moving up to Sacramento within my moving with my in-laws. Yeah, it's devastating. And so then he asked me this tough question, which my heart dropped. He's like, "Well, Lawrence, what about my money?"
Mm.
And I said, "Stuart, I don't have it. It was not enough time to recoup your investment. I don't have it." And so he was like, whoa, I remember when I gave you the money, I just had one condition. It was, I just need that money back. I was like, I know, Stuart. Like, I, I know. And I had no words. I was like it was like a knife stab, like my heart. I would just like, oh, like I still want to give you back that money, but I don't have it. And so like, I don't, yeah, I literally have lost everything, Stuart. It's gone. And, and he was, and at that point, I think my voice started to crack. I had just tears, just shame, you know, and that I'm also letting him down. Like I was just, and I didn't say anything. And there was like a long pause. He was like, he didn't know how to respond because he just lost $300,000. And so, um, and then he came back. I think it was, maybe it was 30 seconds or a minute. I don't. It felt like it was eternity. It was, but he came back. He's like, "Wow, Lawrence, it sounded like you did everything you could, and I'm sorry that everything that you're going through with your family. I just want to let you know that your debt is forgiven." And I was like, "What?" And I just started to cry. Like I was bawling in our office, home office, and I just cried. It's like, "Stuart, thank you." Like I had no words for his generosity. And then we hung up, and I just cried for the next 15 minutes in the office. And I walked out, and my wife was like, "Is everything okay? Like, you're a man." I was like, "Stuart just forgave $300,000." And I was, and so, as a believer, I've never experienced something like God's love so tangible, because this is something I don't deserve, right? Yet it was
Mm.
freely given to me. And I was just like, wow, like and so it was at that point I said, anybody who owed me anything, any debt, it's all completely wiped clean. No one owe me anything. It's a complete clean slate. I'm gonna start at zero, and that's how it's gonna be. And so that really changed the trajectory of my life. It was that moment whether I made that commitment. And there's another interesting kind of backstory was that prior to Store, I was talking with another investor who invested $50,000 in the business. He was very upset, and rightfully so. And was cussing me out. Was angry. "I'm gonna sue you." Da da da. And I just gotta own it. And it was interesting to look at the example with Stewart and the example with this other investor. The outcome is the same for both of them. They both received zero, right? But while one person was condemning me, the other really like affirmed my faith. So it was just such a powerful imagery for me. Like I always have a choice. What do I want to do? I have a choice to make. What do I want to do? I can either affirm this person or I can condemn this person, because the outcome is the same, right? And so it just really allow me to, when I'm making business decision or when I'm talking to people, I can pause a little bit, and I said, I have a moment to choose. what do I want to do? Who do I want to be for that person right now?
Wow.
And
So
so
incredible.
yeah, so that this is my testimony. It's just it's I'm living it, and I know in the future I'm going to look back that 2020 was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm grateful. I'm excited to be in that place and say, see, 2020 was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, absolute amazing divine alignment. And what
100%.
an
Yeah.
incredible uh, testimony and yeah,
Yeah.
just lesson in life. I mean, to
Yeah.
carry that with you for the rest of your life and have that shape who you are as a person and as a businessman and as a member of your community and our society, like that's a really
Yeah.
beautiful thing that you're going to carry forward
Yeah.
and bless
No.
others with.
100%. And there's not one person in this world that I do not want to pay. I want to pay back Stewart so bad. I was like, I'm gonna get there. I want to walk to his house and present him with a $300,000 check because like this changed my life.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Of
sharing that,
course.
Lawrence. That was
Yeah. Thanks.
amazing. I
Yeah. Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah.